introduce a family that I'm quite proud of for Fred. First, I'd like to bring up his wife, Irma. And then his oldest daughter, Pam, made it this time. This is Pam Ballinger. She's married to Charlie. They had 2 kids. Kelly. Oldest one is Kelly, and he couldn't make it because he's working. And Jamie, who attending a reunion all of his own. And then comes Jan. This is Jan Vanderputty. She's married to Mark, who unfortunately couldn't get away. She also has 2 kids, Kim, who couldn't make it because she had to work, and Todd. And that's Fred and Norma's youngest, Sandy. My wife, Sandy. And I'm Tim. And we have 2 children, Brandon. And Bethany. And we're done for now, huh?
Go back to soft beer.
I think y'all know who I am. My nickname when I was young was Min, M-I-N. I think that's the way they spelled it. Min. And then when I went to Concordia, Kansas in 1946, 15, just going on 16. But that was the age that women were entering religious communities in those days. Primarily, Mother and Dad were interested in getting me in a Catholic school. They thought it would convert me a little bit. Keep me Catholic. Because I was heavy into dating at 15, would you believe? Pat Green. Irma knows that. Double dating. Call it double dating anyway. Irma and Fred and Pat and myself. So I've lived most of my life around Concordia and Salina, Kansas City. Right now I live in Kansas City, Missouri, and love the life that I've chosen. And I've been in the convent now about 44 years. So, always been very close to family and really appreciate very much these family reunions, just to get to see a lot of you every 2 years anyway. So it's really nice. And I appreciate the niece and nephews doing that. Anytime I mention these family reunions to people, they just cannot believe that we do this every 2 years. And then when I tell them, you know, the niece and nephews are planning it, they just really think it's wonderful. I'm proud to always tell people that. And so, I don't know what else you want to know about me. I'm 61, except at the gate when I came in here, they said, "Are you both senior citizens?" And I said, "How old does that have to be?" And they said, 62, and I said, "Right on." I didn't tell them I was. answer wasn't. I just said right on. That's the very first lie I've ever. That's coming from one of my brothers. So I really just, I love you very much and appreciate being here and just, that's all. Thanks.
No, actually, I don't know where he's at. I haven't heard from him. I'm sure he'll be here. You don't want to miss all the fun. But at any rate, I had an older brother, Ron, who we lost about 6 years ago. None of his family is with us. I guess before him, I had a sister, huh?
Yeah.
Robin. We'll start with her. She's not here either. She has moved from Canada back to Walkerton, Indiana, and was unable to make the trip this time. She's hoping for next time around, though. From there, we go to Ron, and then Roger. And this is my lovely wife, Lori, and as of yet, no children.
70 animals, though.
And I think it's very important, if you can, to make the effort to be here.
Guess what? Guess what it is?
My name is Pete. I think, let's see my name. We had a raffle yesterday, by the way. Last chance for tickets. We're going to have a drawing right after this. I know you're wondering what's in the box. So am I. I think. What are you guys doing up here? Uh-oh. Pete. Sailboat #1. Hey, I get a new hat, right? I'd like to introduce my wife Patty, one of the senior advisors for the reunion this year. Working the 50-yard line. Oh yeah, Patty. Balloons. Surprised there weren't scissors on there. Oldest son Michael and his wife Martha had 2 children, of whom these aren't any of them, I don't think. Matt and Becky, Rebecca. Oh yeah, they have a dog, Ginger's been with them. Oh, look at that. Becky's got hearts. What's Mike got? Hammer nails? Beer can. Beth? Martha? Great. And Laura and her husband Tom, who's doing a little corn today probably or whatever, but he'll be manning up that grill that's out there a little later on. He put that grill together for us for some chicken later on tonight. Laura has a hat. And Laura and Tom have 3 children and about a third, right? 3 and a third? 3 and a half. 3 and a half children. Their oldest daughter, Megan, and their son, Tony, and their baby, Elise. Oh, they have hats too. Oh yeah, Steve and his wife Sandy. Ward, oh yeah. Ward. His wife Sandy. Their son Bradley. Hi, Brad. Yeah. Crystal. Oh, they have one son and another son that's about 2 months old, right? We have 8 grandchildren going on 10. Oh, daughter. And, hey, guess who just strolled in? Ronald Dixie. Hey, welcome. I have to go to sleep or something.
Talking about me?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
What'd you say? Next we have Beth and her husband Kevin, who will be here in a few minutes. I think she expects him about 12 o'clock. He's working today. He'll be here later. Their daughter Kelly. And Adam, I think, is here somewhere. Where's Adam? Oh, Adam picking his nose. They have that problem. And Todd is with us in heaven. He was killed in a car accident about 8 years ago, I guess, but we certainly remember him well and often. And baby Michelle and her husband Scott. Now, I don't know if they have any children. Now, they've been trying, they've been working at it, but I don't know if they have any children yet. They say they practice a lot. So, I think there's 20 of us when we're all together. We're not quite all here. And Father Mark Inglot will be here about 5 or 5:30 tonight to celebrate Eucharist with us. And we've known Father Mark for about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, or 10. And you'll enjoy his company later on. And he's usually with us at most of our celebrations also. So we'll be proud to introduce Father Mark later on. And I don't have any jokes, and I didn't have a nickname, except Baby, I guess, Baby Peter. Peter the Pope. Oh. We need Uncle Ronald. Uncle Ronald and Dixie. Your son did an excellent job introducing you, but we didn't get to give you a round of applause, so you got to get up here. Oh yeah, the picture also. Come on up, come on. Our oldest brother, August, passed away about 7 years ago, I guess now. And Pearl, his wife, widow, and I don't know if John, her husband's coming or not. And Margaret Jean, I'm kind of going to be here in a few minutes, so I don't know if they'll be here during the introduction part, but we certainly miss this family, but I'm sure they would all like to be here with us also. But I think the words that were spoken about making an extra effort to get this family reunion, it takes an effort, and I really think it's worth it. And I know I, for one, really enjoy it, and it's almost embarrassing to say I don't know all my niece and nephew's names, let alone, their children. Okay, Ron, it's up to you.
Up to me.
I want to know where you've been, too. I want to know where you've been and what you've been doing.
Oh, we stayed up late last night, so we kind of slept in late this morning. How about that? And I didn't have to go to work or nothing, so there you are.
So we played a little retirement.
I think everybody knows who we are anyhow. I know what we're doing up here, but just in case you don't, we wore our name tag. Well, there's not going to be very many. Yeah. The other one I have to introduce is Roger and Lori, his wife Lori. Introduce himself. Come on up again. You have anything you want to tell these people here?
I already told them everything.
Oh, you already talked up here? I missed the whole show, didn't I? Golly. Well, I had a bunch of bent nails I had to straighten out before I got here. That's rough. Anything else I have to say?
Did you have a nickname?
Yeah. I think you just call me Jill. Was it Jill? Yeah.
I call him Gander because he calls me Goose.
Mother Goose. I call her Mother Goose. I call her Gander. That's good enough, huh? Okay. That's all there is. There is no more.
We'll let him buy tickets after the drawing. We're going to have the drawing after the drawing.
I want to buy a ticket yet.
Just sold 2 more lucky tickets. So you got a chance. Come on up.
pay attention to playing.
Bound to beat the charcoal, Lisa. I'm going to play a little tune for just for you. Okay? That wasn't no Michigan tune, was it? There you go. That's enough of this, isn't it? One more. Let's sing one everybody knows, like we sang one around the campfire last night. You're on my sunshine? Everybody.
Other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. Well, dear, I was mistaken. I just held my head and cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when stars are gray. You make me
I like the way you play. Come right through the
The road down there is a good left, and then you go around back to the building.
Bring back a lot of memories.
It's just out here.
For those of you that don't know it, the way I learned to play this thing, see, Dad used to play this harp all the time. I used to steal his harp and then take it to bed with me. Pretty soon he'd be looking for his harp and say, I wonder where I laid my harp at, you know, so I'd have to hurry up and go get it and put it back where I found it.
Here we are, the folks at Chuck Griggs School. Come on. Not Pete. Come on, Pete. Come on. I'm sorry. Leo, you go there too? That's how come you're so darn smart.
We just got to prove to you that we did go to school.
I went there too, but that's how I lost all my smarts. Here.
1, 2. Here we are, the folks of Chuck Griggs School. We are strong and live up to the rules. And when the folks lose their head, you'll find us keeping cool. We're all set with pep and goodwill. Yeah.
Kind of an interesting story about that Chuck Creek School. You know, it was about 1.5 miles from where we lived on the farm. Oh, and the snow was, I mean, it was really deep. No, we used to told me 5 miles. Mike said I told him 5 miles, but it was close. Oh yeah, and it was uphill both ways too. But anyway, it's kind of an interesting story because not too many kids nowadays, you know, go to a one-room school. And it was like kindergarten through 8th grade. And there were probably about 30 kids in the whole school, and 2 outhouses, boys and girls naturally. And there was a behind the woodshed too. There was behind the woodshed there too. And when it was your turn to have a lesson, they would just say, okay, now 8th grade English, come to the front into the old school desk, and the kids would just sit. The kids that were in that grade would just go up to the front, and the rest of the kids would be doing whatever. Sometimes sitting in class, if you call it class, with their skates on too, because at recess we used to just go down the hill and skate on Chuck Creek, right? But anyway, what I was really going to say is that school closed when I was through with the 4th grade, and then I started going to Red Yard and started my 5th grade. And then Dad bought that old schoolhouse and cut it in 2 and moved it to the Sioux and made 2 houses out of it. So that's kind of interesting, right?
Who was working for him at that time?
Probably Clem and Fred. Big suckers.
Yeah, when I was in school, people used to tell me, boy, you're really smart. You know, you got to skip the 4th grade. You know, you were so smart. You went right from the 3rd to the 5th grade. And I used to tell people that, how wonderful, I really was smart. I got to skip a grade. Well, it wasn't until I was a little bit older, I found out that I was the only one in the 4th grade. And rather than have a special class for me, they just put me in the 5th grade. Yeah. The only thing I remember of Chuck Creek School was a sad, sad event because Homer kept breaking the rules right and left and right and left. And he never, even though he got punished, he never sat down still, And one day the teacher put taped his mouth shut. And tape. And then I thought he was going to die. I mean, I cried and I cried and I cried until the teacher had to pull it off.
That's why I don't say much anymore, I have my mouth shut so long.
Ever since then, I've appreciated your sharing, Homer.
Okay, Warden.
We're done. Warden! What do you want? Warden needs to know.
What are you making of?
The game's set up yet. I gotta tell you
A little story that I played on my brother Gus. I worked at Tanner and get off at 9 o'clock. Gus always had a ring for the kids. He had quite a few kids, boys and girls, all play hockey after supper and that. I happened to go by there and he's out there sweeping the ice off, because you couldn't leave that on the ice because it would get rough for the next time, so you sweep it off. The kids are all done. It'll be around 9:30, 10 o'clock. I run home, I drove home and put an old raincoat hat on and a pair of skates and a hat and a nylon sock over my face. And Gus is out there sweeping and I'm skating around, and every time I come to his pile of dirt, I'm skating around, and I accidentally spray the sweeping up from the ice all over the ice, Finally he got up and went and talked
talked to Pearl in the house. There's a suspicious old guy out there, and he came here and he has a funny accent. He keeps saying, "Boy, be a long time no skate on ice. I sure like skate on your ice. Can I come skate here all the time on your ice?" And he wouldn't answer me, but then I and he told Pearl, and Pearl said, "Well, you tell him to go home and tell him to go wherever he got his skates." But I was begging for some food too. I said, "Can your wife cook good? Maybe she makes sandwich for me, 'cause I don't eat for a long time and I get real hungry." And Pearl said, "Tell him to go get his sandwich where he got his skates." Anyway, I kept going around. He was trying to sweep, and he went back in the house again. He said, "You won't leave?" Well, we'll call the cops. They'll get him out. When they call the cops come driving up there, and I'd already told him that who I was. He said, "Well, you know what? I called the cops on you." That's okay. And when the cops came, I said, "Well, I was just playing a joke on my brother," and they just laughed and said, "Well, okay, but no problem." They know. But they sure teased Gus about calling the cops on his brother. We had a lot of fun.
Bill, you're sure you don't want to tell the one about the rotten potatoes? You don't want to tell that one again? Okay. Since our last reunion, he's gone to a psychiatrist to try to forget it.
April Fool Day. And Dad thought, well, Dad was probably about, maybe around 40, 45 then. And he called his brother up down the road. He said, "Fix up a pail of fish for Phil, and I'll send him over after him." So he tells Phil, "Go over to Uncle Rainey's there and get that fish. He's got some fish over there for me." So he filled up a bucket of stones, and I don't know what he put on top of it, but he couldn't tell. Phil's carrying that heavy bucket of stones, probably about half a mile, I guess. Finally, he set it down a few times and rest, and he never got over that, carrying that bucket of stones.
Now I'll tell them the rest of it. I got halfway home and I just couldn't go anywhere carrying that heavy pail of stones. He had put a gunny sack over it. And so I sat down on the bucket and resting, getting my breath. And I peeked in the pail and I see it was rocks. And I was so mad at Uncle Rainey, I thought he's the one that played the joke on me. And I didn't dare dump the stones out. I went to Chuckrick School, see. I figured if I go home with an empty pail, they won't believe that it was rocks in the pail. So I drug that pail all the way home, got home. And they were all laughing at home. Then I realized it was my parents that played the joke on me. And I was out of breath again, but I went out and hid. So I was embarrassed. I was mad. Yeah, I didn't eat for 3 days, you can tell. And hurt my back, so that started my back problem. Is there any other excuses? But I still can't figure out to this day how I let that. Why I didn't dump the pail out and carry an empty bucket home? I didn't help, bro. I knew that Mom and Dad wouldn't believe that he filled it with rocks.
Clean joke.
Take it to
Uncle Rainey lived on a
80 or 120 acres, and Dad lived on 80 or 120 acres, and Uncle Emo, 3 brothers, lived side by side on the farm. And one morning, Dad's cows got out and they got in the cabbage patch, Uncle Emo's cabbage patch, and he didn't like that. And he let Daddy know about it, and Dad said, well, I can't help it. I says, what they eat, their cabbages. I guess it's gone. I says, I'm sorry. And they feuded over it, and they didn't talk for a long time. Or mad at one another. Or Uncle Emo was mad at Dad. And one morning, Dad got up. We were out in the barn and milking, and we had a cow that was in heat. And we didn't have no bull. And this is not bull either. And he had to take the cow down the road past Uncle Emo's place to Rosie Mare's. Remember that place? And to get the cow bred. So he went down and got his job done, and on the way back, while Uncle Emo was out in the cabbage patch and hoeing the cabbage, you know, and he thinking, you know, my God, they haven't talked for a long time. He's just kind of silly. He says, I'll talk to Ed. He says, Ed? He says, how are you? I said, I'm all right. He said, what did you do with the cow? Or, he said, well, he said, I took her down. She was in heat and I got her bred. He said, where'd you get her bred? Dad dropped the rope and he walked behind the cow and picked up her tail and he said, right here, you damn fool.
I'm going to tell you a true story, though. This is about Sister Lucia. When she was 4 years old. Well, I don't know, I imagine a lot of you have never heard this.
I want you to sure to hear
Yeah. She was 4 years old, and it was late October, November, right? Anyway,
supposed to remember?
people used to have parties, you know, and they'd go from one house to the other and have parties, you know. And Dad and Mother come home and pay no attention, you know, the kids are all in bed, you know. So they gets up the next morning and everybody gets up and, but she's not there. 4 years old. What? What? What's her, right? Mary. Which one was he?
Mary.
Yeah, I'm sorry, then it's Mary. Okay. I knew there was one of them. There was only two, but it was hard to pick the right one. Just a Mary, anyway. Anyway, she wasn't around, so God, I looked under the bed, looked all through the house, all over.
Well.
The well. She might have fell in the well. You know, she got up in a dream or something, and had all the neighbors around there looking, you know, and wondering. We kept going further, look under the piles of the lumber and in the hay in the house, in the barn, all over. Finally we started widening out, going out further in the fields. And here she was about a half a mile from the house, over in a plowed field, laying where they leave the furrow, you know, and they finished it. She's laying in the furrow there, and she's about half froze. And I don't know how Dad ever got out there, but he was out there and picked her up, wrapped her in a blanket. Then when they took her in the house, they had to lay her on the oven door for a half hour to let us out, you know. Yeah, and that's a true story. But I got mixed up. Oh, that was you. Sorry about that.
I was being silly. I have a real short one to tell you, and it's about the farm. And so It's a true story. And, you know, like, I never learned to milk cows because there were enough boys around. But I got the job sometimes of holding their tails while the boys were milking. So, because there were so many flies and they'd swish their tail, you know, and hit the boys in their face or whatever. So this time I was holding the tails of 2 cows. At the same time, I have 2 hands. So I was holding a tail in each hand, but I got tired. So I tied the tails together. And then when it was time to leave the cows out, I couldn't get them untied. I worked and worked and worked and tried to get that hair loose from each other on the tail. And so I was scared, you know. I just didn't say a word. I didn't tell anybody. And they let the cows out in the field. And I didn't sleep at all. The next morning there was 1 cow with 2 tails and the other one didn't have any. A true story.
Leo had a pretty good story here, and mine's pretty much the same, awful close. But I'll try to use the same words as he did because his words were quite clean. Dad always had pigs, you know, on the farm there. There's one certain year, he always usually had a boar or 2, you know, which was no problem. It's a good idea to have a male and female, right? But this one year, he did not have no boar or pig, okay? So he goes out to the barn about South Cayman Heat, okay? He goes out to the barn, the place, closest boar or pig was over at Rosie Mere, same man, you know, same place. You know, half a mile down on the left-hand side there. And, halfway to school. So, he thought, how in the heck am I going to get that saw pig here? She said, how in the hell am I going to get her over there? Well, he said, hell, I got a wheelbarrow I clean the barn with all the time. That should be no big deal. So he said, yeah, he went up to the pig pen there and tried to put that doggone sow in that wheelbarrow. I bet you he thought, well, it's daylight. He said, well, I guess I'm going to have to go to work. I'm going to have to give that up. So he went out there the next morning, he shoot the heat again, so he fought another couple hours with her, and he wheeled her all the way to Rosie Mere's there with that steel wheel wheelbarrow. She was halfway in heat. so he wheeled her back home. And so, okay, then the next morning came along, by God, I got to have some little pigs, you know, because, hey, that's part of our food, you know, for winter time. Goes out to the barn about 4 o'clock this next morning. Doggone old sow was standing in the wheelbarrow, ready to go.
Are we done?
You know, one thing we should say that